The Columbus City Council meeting for March 3rd, 2025 will now come to order. In compliance with the Open Meeting Act, a copy of which act is in this meeting room. Sharia, would you please call roll?
Bulkley.
Here.
Alarcon. Here. Barr.
Here.
Hemer.
Here.
Jablonski.
Here.
Lopez. Here. Polensky.
Here.
Roth.
Here.
Schilling.
Here.
Mayor Bulkley, the roll has been called.
Thank you. Mr. Council President.
Our Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve our fellow citizens. Please give us your wisdom and guidance to make the proper decisions entrusted to this governmental body. May our conduct show respect, honor, and courtesy to each other, as well as to all our citizens. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, all. I welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. If at any time in our meeting this evening, anyone in our audience would like to come forward and address any items on our agenda, we'd ask you to please come forward, give your name, your address, and we'd ask that you keep any comments to 5 minutes or less. With that, we'll move on to our consent agenda. And I think most of the audience would notice that our city administrator isn't with us this evening. So we'll look and turn to Sharia, our city clerk, to fill in and help me here during our meeting.
Excuse me. You might explain why our city administrator is not here this evening.
Well, thank you, and I would be glad to do that. Our city administrator was called by Congressman Flood and asked to come to Washington, D.C. and speak on his subcommittee to discuss the items and the things that we're doing here in Columbus to help address our housing situation. So it's quite an honor that she is there to speak in front of a lot of different representatives from around the country, tell our story, and represent our community. So we wish her well. That all takes place tomorrow. All right? Move forward.
Item 4, consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a City Council member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from consent status and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item 4A, minutes of the February 18th, 2025 City Council meeting. 4B, Northeast Nebraska Area Agency on Aging 2026 budget and application for funding for Senior Center. 4C, Resolution Number R 25-31, approving agreement with Columbus Youth Baseball League for use of Centennial Park baseball facilities. 4D, Resolution Number R 25-32, approving second one-year extension of interlocal cooperation agreement with Platte County in the amount of $50,206.32 for prosecution services. 4E, Resolution number R 25-33, authorizing payment of various improvement projects. And 4F, payroll and bills on file. Mr. Mayor and Council, is there anything you would like removed from the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the items on the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Brings us up to special presentations. This evening, I do have a proclamation that I would like to read to our citizens. Whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling has designated March 2025 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month. And whereas problem gambling is a public health issue affecting millions of Americans of all ages, races, and ethnic backgrounds. And whereas problem gambling is a significant social and economic cost for individuals, families, businesses, and communities. And whereas problem gambling is treatable and treatment is effective in minimizing this harm to both individuals and society as a whole. And whereas numerous individuals, professionals, and organizations have dedicated their efforts to the education of the public about problem gambling and the availability and effectiveness of treatments. And whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling invites all residents of Columbus, Nebraska to participate in Problem Gambling Awareness Month, I, therefore, James B. Bulkley, Mayor of Columbus, Nebraska, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month in Columbus and encourage all citizens to support the National Council on Problem Gambling in their efforts to mitigate gambling-related harm nationwide. Is there anyone here related to this proclamation? Please come forward.
Hello, I'm Mike Chandra. I'm with Choices Treatment Center. I'm also with the Nebraska Council on Problem Gambling, and I'm the one who submitted the request for this proclamation.
You want to say anything above and beyond what I've read in the proclamation?
Your proclamation pretty much covers everything. It is kind of the great thing about the state of Nebraska is that we're very blessed that we have what's called the Nebraska Gamblers Assistance Program here, which allows for free treatment for anyone struggling with problem gambling and their loved ones as well, which is what we do at Choices. But there's many great counselors and therapy clinics around the state that do this sort of service. So just know that there is free treatment for whoever needs it out there. Nationally, there's 2.5 million people that struggle from severe problem gambling, another 5 to 8 million people at least that struggle with some sort of moderate to slight struggles with problem gambling. So it is definitely a huge consideration, and I just appreciate you and the council's seriousness with this matter and your support of problem gambling.
Want to come forward and get this, please?
Do you have a location here in town?
Yes, we do.
In that-
old hospital building.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let he wants to take a picture. Hurry up.
All right, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to new business.
Reports of city offices.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
9A, update on Nebraska Department of Transportation.
Well, sure, you put that in after I made my copy. What can I tell you?
Just trying to skip me, Mayor, I think.
Yeah, you tried.
23rd Street Reconstruction Project.
All right, so this is, of course, the third year for the NDOT on their 23rd Street Reconstruction Project. Just a reminder of what's left then would be the south side, the eastbound lanes from about 18th Avenue to 31st Avenue. It'll be set up very similar to last year's phase, except for obviously on the other side. So as far as traffic goes, as far as patterns goes, trying to leave as many signalized intersections open as long as they can. So in this case, that would be 23rd Avenue, 26th Avenue, and 30th Avenue. Of course, there'll be times they'll have to go through that, just like last year, and they'll put some temporary paving back, but they're going to try to leave them open as long as they could. They're originally going to start today, but because of the pending weather in the next couple days, they've decided to wait till next Monday. So next week then, Monday, they'll start the transition of getting everybody moved over on that south side, for east and west one-lane traffic on the south, or on the north side to do the south side. So they're starting to make that transition. It'll take about a week, and then they'll start doing paver removals and utility work. They're hoping that a majority of the major construction will be completed by, let's say, September, something like that. That's their goal right now. That doesn't mean that the whole project will be done in September. There'll be things after that to have to occur, like permanent striping. There'll be some traffic signalization work. So there'll be some lane closures. There's some more plantings to do, things of that nature. But I think the DOT is excited that they've got this far. They hoping that this will be the best year as far as getting things done. And I guess if anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Bogus?
Will 18th Avenue be open?
Yeah, so 18th Avenue will be open north south. You're correct. There might be like a lane closure to a right-hand turn lane here or there, depending on how we have to do the the coning off of everything. But 18th Avenue, they went through that last year on purpose. They would not have to close that, and so that'll be now the east-west segment. Will be limited one lanes on 23rd Street at 18th Avenue, but 18th Avenue north south will be open.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Bogus. Move on to new business? Okay, thank you.
13A, quote from Eaton in the amount of $27,592.94 for replacement batteries for uninterruptible power source for Joint Communications Center.
Mr. Mayor, I move the quote from Eaton for replacement batteries be accepted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the quote for replacement batteries for the Joint Communications Center. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
13B, quote from Eaton in the amount of $20,004.30 for a 3-year renewal of service contract for uninterruptible power source for Joint Communications Center.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the quote from Eaton for a 3-year service contract be accepted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the quote from Eaton for the 3-year service contract. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
13C, quote from Downing Drilling Inc. in the amount of $37,700 for inspection, cleaning, and treatment of well number 8 and well number 12.
Move that the quote from Downey Drilling Incorporated for well maintenance be accepted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the quote from Downey Drilling for well maintenance. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
13D, quote from Sirius Computer Solutions LLC in the amount of $24,080 for assistance with upgrades to the Active Directory domain services.
Move that the quote from Sirius Computer Solutions LLCs for assistance with computer systems upgrade be accepted.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the quote from Sirius Computer Solutions. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Can we explain what an Active Directory domain is?
That would be Matt Sukup, or IT. Gentlemen.
It's an upgrade.
To what?
Here, let's open up the.
Well, call up the pay, go to the, call that up and explain. It's right, it does explain it in the handout. I read it, but I do not remember it. I'll be the first to admit.
That's my answer.
You want me to read the whole thing? The city is currently running ADDS on older servers and versions that need to be upgraded to newer versions. Sirius would assist with the setup and migration of the servers and system to this new version. This upgrade would give the city's server system updated to a new current version with better support and security.
So this is an update to our computer systems which happens periodically when things get old, which in the computer world happens fairly often. Would that be a layman's term explanation? All right. All right, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
13E, quote from AVI Systems, Inc., in the amount of $10,035.83 for tablet and installation services for public use at the City Hall front desk.
God bless.
I move the quote from AVI Systems, Inc. for tablets and installation services be accepted.
We have a motion and a second to accept the quote from AVI Systems. Any discussion?
So is our front desk not going to be manned anymore that we're going to need this? Because I see it says you'll be able to punch in who you want to talk to and they come to you now?
Right. The point that what they're trying to set up, what they're attempting to set up is to have somebody come up and whoever they need can get brought up front immediately to take care of them and talk to them. We have a person that's been there that's retiring. And the thought process is this would be a position we possibly don't need to refill. We can allocate some of those responsibilities to other individuals within City Hall. I think what you're getting at, if I might read into your thoughts, would be if we need the service for the citizens that come, I think we have to see that this doesn't delay response time to citizens that come forward for questions and concerns. Would that be valid, Councilman?
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure we weren't having somebody man it and we have that there too.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, it's actually a way to look at streamlining a personnel position that we possibly can get by without. I think, the concern will be how we handle it and how this, how we move forward with it.
I'm guessing you probably don't know a lot about the program, but I'm wondering if it,
You're asking me?
well, in general. I mean, are they going to know if somebody's there? You know, if you come in and ask for Mr. Sliva and he's not in how long are you going to wait? I mean,
Well,
before
I
you find
think,
out.
I think the thing will be set up that if Mr. Sliva's not there, there will be somebody that goes up to talk to him to make sure they understand the issue to get to Mr. Sliva. Because if they come up in person and Linda's there, and it's Linda
Right.
Clater that's leaving, that doesn't mean he was there anyway, I mean, there'll be some work in progress as this thing evolves. I think we want to be of the understanding that it's something different and new, and let's, work through it and see how it's handled.
I assume we're paying for it out of Linda's wages, that we're no longer going to pay her?
Well, I think that's part of that's how it's being looked at, yes, yes.
Is there a feedback mechanism with this device to tell us how often it's used and how well it's being used, whether it really is economic, so to speak?
Well, I think we'll get that feedback after having it in play for a while, Councilman. I think my bigger concern would be the response we get from citizens that come up with concerns or questions.
Where is this device going to be placed?
It's right outside the window.
Where you would come up and talk to somebody that's on the other side of the window to begin with.
Oh, over here,
Yeah.
outside the window?
Yeah.
So we're not going to have anybody sitting behind the window? Is that what I'm hearing?
I believe that is the situation on a regular basis. There will not be somebody sitting there.
Need your card to get in if you want to walk in.
All right?
Oh, I guess we'll try and see how it
Well,
works.
I think that is a good point. Yeah. Any other questions or concerns? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
13F, Plan Specification Estimate of Cost in the amount of $150,000 and authorization to advertise for bids for sanitary sewer rehabilitation 2025. Plans and specs are on file in the engineering department. This is CIP number 20-94.
Mr. Mayor, I move the specifications, estimate of cost, and authorization to advertise for bids be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the estimate of costs and authorization for bids for sanitary sewer rehabilitation for 2025. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Here's where our sales tax goes.
That's a good part of it, yes, sir. All right, no further questions. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion,
Just to clarify, did you say sales tax pays for this? I thought this was an enterprise fund.
this would be an enterprise fund. The other item,
Yeah, you're right.
no, that's right. Very good point.
You're right.
Very good point.
Exactly right.
But if you would go back and look, I mean, we can identify those other items that would be sales
Oh, yeah.
tax fund. But this happens to be a council meeting where many of them, the Joint Communication Center, that would not be because they,
Yep.
well, it would be, our portion of that would be sales tax fund, part of it, or
The portion of, I'm sorry, what was the question? I didn't.
I really don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're fully funded by the county tax levy and the grants, so.
okay. All right.
13G, comments from the mayor and city council members. In compliance with the Open Meetings Act, no discussion may be held on this item.
Council members, any discussion? Items. I had a couple of things. Brent took my thunder when I was going to talk about where Tara was tonight. But we already got that out of the chute, and that's fine. A couple other things. I think the public's excited about the cardboard and the paper recycling that's getting underway. And it is just getting underway, so please bear with us as we get this kicked off. This week could be a little iffy because of the weather and trying to get a schedule started. But let's get past this week, and you would see the rest of March with it being open Monday and Wednesdays from 8 till 3, and on Saturdays from 8 till 12. And then after April 1st, when really that's kind of the grass season starts, it's going to be open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 9 to 8. And I don't know if it's anything on Saturday, but, it will become more regular as we move in. And again, that's a work in progress. It's something we're just getting started. We want to see how it's working. We want to, we're very concerned about maintaining it and having somebody there so it doesn't get contaminated with people putting crap and junk in it. So let's hope we can make that work. The other item I wanted to mention was we've got a new little brochure that is out that highlights the city government and gives people the ability to turn to it and just, find contact information, who they want to talk to, how to get a hold of people, what departments, et cetera, et cetera. So it's another item that the public can utilize for information and maybe help answer some of those questions of where do I find this or where do I find that? It kind of tells you who our people are, and each and every one of you, all smiling faces are on it. So take one home and put it on your bulletin board, okay? Yeah. All right. Other than that, I have nothing. We'll move on to resolutions.
14A, resolution number 25R25-34, setting Monday, April 7th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 5:45 p.m., when the mayor and council shall sit as a board of equalization to equalize and levy special assessments for Street Improvement District number 184, 23rd Street from east of 48th Avenue to 54th Avenue, and Street Improvement District number 189, 48th Avenue from 23rd Street to south of Bradshaw Park.
Mr. Mayor, I move resolution number R25-34 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number R25-34. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
14B, Resolution Number R25-35, approving memorandum of understanding with Columbus Area United Way regarding a central navigator within the Columbus Community Building.
Mr. Mayor, I move that resolution number R25-35 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number R25-35. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to have a representative from the United Way come forward and discuss what this central navigator will do and
We don't
how
have
it will be presented.
We don't have anybody from the United Way, but we have somebody that can help us.
I can still help. So I helped during this process, and basically,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sarah Bettenhausen, Community Coordinator, first time here, sorry if it shows. No, so there's a lot of our citizens come in and they need help with what United Way defines as first-line resources to help aid them from falling further behind, with social support systems and whatnot. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyhow, and our librarians are tasked to sometimes help them navigate things online, looking for resources. This is one way of having somebody in the building, being hosted in one of our conference rooms that's not used that often, having a physical presence, a predictable schedule, and integration with the staff without actually being integrated with the staff. So they'll provide all of their resources. There's no funding support required of us to offer more substantial services to our community members. So they'll be on site. It's a 3-year commitment, doesn't cost us anything, and they're housing all of their own technology. It's all good, so.
Kind of a good definition of collaboration.
Good definition of
The
collaboration.
city and United Way working together to try to help our citizens, so.
Oh, and the library too.
And
So
the
these
lab.
meetings would be me, the library, Jerry and
Absolutely.
United Way.
Any other questions? Does that help us?
Is there a feedback mechanism to
Yep.
see how well this individual or navigator is utilized?
Yeah, actually, what's wonderful and unique about this project is that it's a 3-year time frame. So anyone that does research for grants and things like that, it's a significant period of time for judging utilization, efficacy, things like that. So we will have lots of stats and statistics that they have agreed to share with us as we go and when they're done, with that time frame. So it's good for us.
So basically, you'll be like an in-person 211?
It would be, yep. It's a part-time position. They will be integrated with the staff, have the same background check, drug screening, all of that, that we would require in our buildings. And, yeah, but they'll be there just to support and have a physical presence to catch those people that maybe would have not been, able to access them otherwise.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Awesome. All right, any other questions or concerns? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Brings us up to ordinances on their first reading.
Item 15A, ordinance number 25-03, amending section 90.099 of chapter 90 of Title 9 of the Columbus City Code to clarify the animal forfeiture provisions for animals at large.
This is a first reading, so there's no vote, right?
There's a motion.
Oh,
Yeah.
we are, well, it didn't,
It's just a cleanup item.
okey-dokey.
Mr. Mayor, I move the rules be suspended and ordinance number 25-03 be read by number only.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2503 by number only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Ordinance number 25-03.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of ordinance number 25-03.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 25-03. Any discussion?
Can we have somebody clarify what the forfeiture is that we're
taking out for the public who doesn't have this information in front of them?
Who can clarify, who can do the cleanup?
Mr. Neal.
So right now, the ordinance reads, if you've been issued a warning or citation, in order to better match up with what the intention is, it needs to say essentially that it's a conviction of that. So on the fourth time, that means the person could lose their animal if they haven't done it. And so that process, I would leave with the police department as to what they're going to actually do with the dog, but
I guess my question wasn't so much the changing of the word, but it caught my attention that 4 offenses before you get to where you might lose the darn dog. Why does it take so long if that dog's had an issue?
that's just the way that it.
Is that a state thing, or is
I don't believe that's a state thing. That's just the way that the city ordinance is read for however long it's been
Okay.
in. And as I said, it got caught because the reference was to the wrong part of the preceding part of the ordinance, so we just needed to clarify the correct paragraph or subparagraph.
You're really not changing anything, you're just cleaning it up.
Yeah, there's no change to what's actually in place, yeah.
And like I said, as I went through the handout material we got this weekend, I didn't remember one thing that I read, but this one I remembered. It caught my attention that it took 4 offenses to get to this point, which I guess if nobody's got a problem with that, I guess that's okay.
4 seems like a long time.
I agree.
If you've got a dog at large that's attacking folk, let's
Well,
give the guy one strike,
Well,
one strike.
I think
That's
what we-
not what
Yeah,
we're
I was
talking about.
I was just
yeah.
going to say, what this did is clean up the ordinance. If we want to have this discussion, council members, we need to bring it back for, a discussion of its own. That's not on the agenda, which is what you're about ready to tell me.
Right, yeah, that would be a dangerous dog, and that's handled separately.
Oh, this is just at large.
This is just at large, yeah.
Okay.
This isn't dangerous.
This isn't dangerous. If council would still like to have those discussions, we can. But this ordinance that we cleaned up is addressing dogs at large. And I think maybe we had thought dangerous too, but dogs at large. However, we can, if at some point the council wants to look at that, it's certainly open for looking at, if that's the case. Okay, I'll be quiet. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Or did we already? Motion passes. All right, meeting adjourned, and City Clerk Soraya, you did a wonderful job. We do have a Community Development Agency